hybrid tactics. Are you concerned about timing and how fast NATO can deploy in case, worst case scenario, that it needed to respond to a border crossing?
Also, preparedness and readiness is key, and that's the reason why we have increased preparedness and readiness. I also welcome what the Baltic countries are doing themselves.
Yes.
Also, I'm coming from Norway, and of course, we live also in decades. We felt safe during the Cold War, and we feel safe today not because we have also NATO troops based in Norway, but because we believe in deterrence. We believe that NATO troops in the US will be there if needed. And of course then this is the combination of our ability to reinforce, but also of course the importance of national forces being the first responders. And I welcome therefore that also the Baltic countries, Poland, are now increasing their own investments in defense. We will establish a persistent presence in the way that we will establish the NATO command units in the 6 eastern allied countries, the 3 Baltic countries, Poland, Romania, and Bulgaria. And that is something new. I think it's important. It's not very big command and control units, but there will be a NATO presence there. It will be important for planning, for exercises, but it will also make reinforcement easier. So national presence, increased preparedness and readiness, also improving our ability to reinforce. But in addition to that, we have what we call the reassurance measures. So we have already increased also NATO presence in the eastern part of the alliance, with more air policing, with more troops on the ground, and more presence in the Baltic and the Black Sea. So it's the whole combination that provides the deterrence, which is so important for NATO.
One last question before I turn our audience and open the floor for questions. Another aspect of managing our relations with Russia is about NATO's enlargement agenda. And I can't let you go unless I ask a question about enlargement. I think it was in 2012, then Secretary Clinton had argued after the Chicago NATO summit that this would be the last summit where enlargement would not be discussed. Well, we've had another summit at Newport. The enlargement question was not tackled. As we head towards Warsaw, I'd love your thoughts on the open door. Obviously not just for Georgia and Ukraine, a very divisive issue within the alliance, but today's Finland's coalition platform suggests that even Finland's keeping its options open for NATO membership, Montenegro. Is there really a path forward in the open door policy for NATO?
The open door policy has been a historic success. It has contributed to stability, to democracy in Europe, and of course a combination of also the enlargement of NATO and the enlargement of the European Union has really transformed Europe in a very good way. I think it's important to underline the fundamental principle that every nation has its sovereign right to decide its own path, including what kind of security arrangements it wants to be part of. This is enshrined in the many documents, including the Helsinki Final Act, and it's something which also Russia has signed to. The consequence of that is that whether another country is going to become member of NATO or not is something which is going to be decided by that aspirant country and 28 allies, no one else. No one else has the right to try to veto or to deny a sovereign country to join an alliance or to choose the path it wants. We have decided that we'll make decisions on Montenegro by the end of this year. So this will be a key issue at the foreign ministerial meeting of NATO at the end of 2015. Also, I'm reluctant to speculate about the Swedes and the Finns. They are neighbors of Norway, and if I say anything about that, I think it will only create, what I say, it will not contribute in any positive way. So,
Okay.
they have to decide whether they apply and then we will assess